In this video, I will tell you 10 pros and 1 con for this lens, the Panasonic Lumix G 25mm f1.7 ASPH. Is it really worth it? I will give my answer at the ending of this clip. First, let me tell you the pros. First one, small size and weight. When you first look at it, it's hard to believe that a lens with an f1.7 aperture has such a small diameter. Canon's Nifty 50, the f1.8 version, is thicker, and that's because sensor size influences lens size. The Panasonic lens is also 34 grams lighter, so it gets extra points for portability. It really doesn't matter where it stays, whether it's mounted or in the camera bag, this lens will not bother you. Second pro, versatile focal length. 25mm multiplied by 2 gives you that magic number, 50mm. This is the Nifty 50 for micro four thirds cameras. It's not a wide angle nor a telephoto angle, it's right in the middle. What this lens sees is pretty similar to what we see with the naked eye. It gives a natural, undistorted look. If you want to take some portraits or street photography, the Panasonic 25mm will serve you well. Third pro, the wide f1.7 aperture. We all know that micro four thirds cameras are not great in low light conditions. That's when this lens comes to save the day. f1.7 lets in a lot of light. Here, I was almost shooting in complete darkness, but thanks to this lens, I didn't raise the ISO too much. When the night comes, your photos and videos will look clean thanks to the wide aperture. Of course, this aperture also helps with the shallow depth of field, and here is the fourth pro, good bokeh. We must remember that micro four thirds sensors are 2 times smaller than full frame sensors. So, by default, the bokeh will be diminished by 2x. Still, look at this video, the bokeh coming from this lens is good. Staying close to the subject, we get very nice results, and even if we get farther away, we see a nice subject separation. Good results on bokeh. But is this lens affordable? Yes, it is. Fifth pro, the low price. This is probably the cheapest prime lens with autofocus that you can buy for micro four thirds mirrorless cameras. A brand new 25mm costs around $150 and if you want to buy a used copy, of course, the price goes even lower. It's inexpensive and everybody likes this fact. I also want to talk about the build quality because it's good. The focusing ring, when you twist it, is buttery smooth. Honestly, it is one of my favorite focusing rings that I ever touched. It's also quite big and grippy. Although the whole lens is made out of plastic, it's not cheap plastic. It feels quite premium. And look, on the back we see a metal mount. Although it doesn't offer weather sealing, neither does the competition. In the price range of $150, there is no prime lens with weather sealing. 7 Pro, good focusing. First of all, this lens can focus at a minimum distance of just 25 centimeters. This will come in handy for people that want to get up close and capture some small details. I know that not all of us are interested in close-up shots, but what everybody wants is fast focusing. I tested this lens. As you can see here, it is fast, precise, and doesn't focus on that much. Clearly, this makes it more fun. The 8th Pro. This lens will work on both Panasonic and Olympus cameras. This is something that I always enjoyed. The brand doesn't matter. As long as it's a micro four thirds camera, all micro four thirds lenses will work on it. If you want a different camera body, you can still keep the lens. The 9th Pro is about distortions. I photographed an A3 paper with some lines on it, and here I saw another benefit. This lens doesn't create distortions. Everything from this image is straight. If you're doing portraits, thanks to this lens, your subject will have a natural look. 10th Pro, good sharpness. I mounted this lens on my Panasonic G7 and photographed this image with targets. I noticed that already at the widest aperture, the center of the image looks nice. For a good performance in the corners, we'll have to stop down to f2.8. Excellent sharpness is achieved at f4. This is a good performance. Now the cons. There is only one con worth mentioning. It has poor performance in bright light. Let me show you. When the sun is directly hitting the glass, the lens loses contrast. The blacks are not black anymore. Also, we see a big amount of flaring, so it's better to avoid bright lights with this lens and maybe use a lens hood. There could be more cons, but honestly, there is nothing else that bothers me about this lens. Of course, it doesn't have weather sealing, but what lens at $150 has it? This video shows 10 pros and 1 con because indeed, this is a good lens. So, is it truly worth it? Definitely. It is probably the best cheap lens that you can buy for your Micro Four Thirds camera. I had a lot of fun using it. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. I will make more vlogs like this one. See you soon.